reporting around after, so that teams can share internally if needed. Or if anyone isn't able to make it, we'll share it with them as well. We typically post these all to our YouTube channel as well. So if you forget something or there's something cool that you saw in a webinar, you can always go back and find it. They typically go up either day after or day of the webinar itself. Okay, so we're at 3 o'clock sharp. We'll give everybody a few more minutes to start joining. Just to give everybody a brief introduction, my name is Yit. I'm the CEO of CLEATUS. I'm joined here by my colleague Mitat, who's our COO. And yeah, really excited to again jump into another live webinar session where we're going to go over existing platform features, value adds, as well as some features really around a new feature that's quite exciting for us, which is the inclusion of grants, SBIRs, sitters, and other such opportunities, which have been added to the platform as of, I believe, late last week. So definitely a lot to cover for both new customers and existing customers alike. And I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen to get everything ready for you all. And Mita, just to confirm, my screen is coming through okay on your end?
Looks great.
Perfect. And again, everybody remember there is a Q&A that you're able to ask questions in. We'll either pause the presentation to answer them live or answer them async via messaging. But everybody, welcome. Thank you again for joining the webinar that we have scheduled today. If you're a new customer, welcome. And if you're an existing customer, thank you again for your support and really looking forward to continuing to work with you all one-on-one to really succeed in this industry, which is ultimately our ultimate goal. Thank you all again. My name is Yet, CEO here at CLEATUS. Today, what we're going to go through quickly is a bit of an introduction to the platform, again, for some of the newer customers, as well as a refresher for anybody existing if that is necessary. Really, we always want to highlight, kind of briefly and simply what it is we do. And that's we create AI that finds, bids, and wins government contracts. And we do this with really a number of tools. We've currently built what we believe is a very all-in-one solution to this industry, consolidating what could be 4, 5, 10 different tools into one package that's going to carry you from everything, really every step of the process from discovery through proposal, ultimately to award and beyond. We've worked with a little over 500 companies, and those companies have actually won a little over $1 billion in 2025 alone. And we're headquartered right here in Arlington, Virginia, outside the nation's capital, serving companies nationwide. In terms of some of the real outcomes that we typically like to cite that we produce for companies that work with us is this productivity multiple. I think this is really a key thing to think about when using anything AI is how is it affecting my day-to-day, minute to minute productivity? And ultimately, what we typically see is a multiple on that productivity, right? 6x in many cases. We have some really great user stories of some super users who've really used the platform, I would say to its fullest, and I've seen some really incredible results because of that. And these are all on our website, so definitely recommend reading through some of these stories so you can see how some companies have leveraged it. And I definitely think there'll be a few user stories here that would resonate with you all as well. And as we talk about the true outcomes that we drive for companies, really, which is what we're all after, is ultimately higher win rates, higher success rates, improved. Um, again, happening because we've improved productivity as well as saved time on those day-to-day tasks. These are the kinds of outcomes that AI can drive for you, whether you're using agentic AI or autonomous AI. The idea is that it's ultimately taking workload off of you and kind of acting as an extension of yourself, whether you're a solo operation or, a small team or even a large team. Because it's a multiple, it generalizes to the whole team and ultimately is a net good on everything that we're able to produce. And really, we'll show you again lots of ways that you can leverage agentic AI as well as take it a step further with automations. And we're going to go over a little bit of that stuff in this presentation as well, really to kind of again open up our imaginations to what's possible with a tool such as this. A lot of what we'd like to kind of frame, some of the questions that we frame around kind of what we're currently doing and how we can start taking and really utilizing AI to essentially take some of these manual processes and turn them into either automations or what automations are just going to happen from day one. Everything from every possible thing that you do from capture, BD to the proposal writing process itself is ultimately a workflow when viewed through the lens of AI. And the approaches can be different. That's quite intentional. And when, for example, finding opportunities, we oftentimes see a large amount of time spent searching for opportunities, qualifying them, whether you're a state and local contractor and your problem is that you're looking through 40 different sites to find the opportunities, or you're in the GSA and you're having trouble managing your task orders, or for example, in a different vehicle and experiencing a similar problem. The solution to a lot of this is going to be automation. It's going to be aggregation, taking data from multiple sources and combining it into one place, but then putting an agent on top of it so that your workflow of searching through that is even changed. And that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be going through. And again, of course, doing this for essentially all levels of possible contractors, contracting from federal all the way down to the counties and even subcontracting. Really the use cases for this are endless because this is the biggest book of potential business or potential go-to-market opportunities for companies across any industry. And really finding, surfacing, analyzing, looking at your company's profile and saying, hey, this is a good fit for business for you is really one area that I think CLEATUS excels in and really is the pretty much the first thing it's going to do for you from day one. On top of that, tracking these pipeline opportunities, having visibility over the opportunities that you're currently going after, and ensuring that the work needed to be done is being done while simultaneously acting as a single source of truth. This is all extremely important, especially as we think about going after multiple opportunities at once and really where scale comes into play. It's one thing going after one opportunity at a time, but it's a totally another beast to go after 10 at a time. And really, when we talk about systems that scale, building them in one place rather than multiple disjointed systems is really what it's all about. And that's really what our kind of pipeline related features are all about. And then, of course, the proposal writing process, ultimately the most complex single process in really anything with GovCon. We really take the proposal process and make it into a scalable system in itself. So we're going to definitely talk a lot about how we do that with, again, agentic AI and how we use things like the solicitation to dynamically decide what is required of the response, and then combine that with your company's proprietary information in order to tailor that proposal so it's not a generic output. All of these things are incredibly important and are all big parts of the process when it comes to submitting a good bid that's going to win at a price that's winnable. That's actually kind of where the fourth thing comes into play with competitive intelligence. Oftentimes, something we see a lot of companies kind of neglecting or not having really a system for actually capturing and utilizing competitive intelligence. So we're going to definitely talk a little bit about that as well, because that is incredibly crucial. That could be anything from the contracting officers that you need to meet if you want to break into a specific buyer, or the pricing that's required from historical data, as well as even just your competitors or potential teaming partners. There are ways to leverage the millions and millions of data points that are in our system because, again, there's an agent on top of it. There are ways to leverage this that are much, much less time consuming than it has been in the past. And again, the reason why we do this, the reason why we are part data sciences and part agentic and AI is because this is like a match made in heaven, right? Having data is great, but you need to be able to get some insight out of that. And again, having AI is great, but if it doesn't have data, it's not going to be that useful. But again, that's why we do both. On top of that, the final kind of big thing in not just GovCon, really just technology in general right now is workflow automation, right? Custom workflows, being able to create these systems that scale, that are orchestrated completely autonomously is truly kind of the future. That is like the golden path that we say a lot of times with building out these systems that are reflected inside the platform that are just doing and producing things, who knows, even while you sleep. And that's, again, also generalizes from everything to capture to BD to proposal. And so we're definitely going to talk a lot about that as well in this presentation. When it comes to things like daily matching, right? Finding the right opportunities for you, we always kind of position CLEATUS as that kind of capture manager that doesn't sleep, right? It's going to be constantly there. It's going to be constantly learning about your business, everything from your capabilities, right? What it is you do, what your differentiators are in those capabilities, much further beyond something like a keyword or a NAICS code can take you. The most common example, I think, is, hey, I do construction. Well, if you what kind of construction, what level of construction, what size of construction, what kind of construction. There's so much nuance in every industry that NACE codes and keywords just cannot capture them all. And that's why we take a capabilities-based approach to matching, where because we're looking at a contract to figure out, hey, what's the scope of work? What capabilities are required to perform the contract? And then looking at the companies that have those capabilities to do the matching. That's really the foundation of matching. But then on top of that, when you take into account your past performances or really your personal preferences, maybe towards a certain size or certain requirements that you're trying to avoid, this is how you create and teach an agent to do capture on your behalf. Our team helps a lot with this process. So if you're ever concerned about, hey, can I set this up? Am I worried? This is something that we also assist with and that we play a big role in it as well. But really, when it comes to matching, there's kind of two parts, right? There's what sources are available, and in that end, we've certainly got a exceptionally comprehensive database of sources, a little over 30,000 of them, everything from obviously SAM.gov to various different vehicle platforms like GSA, Seaport, and soon to be the new the where Seaport is moving to PIEE, DIBS, state and local sites. So again, thousands and thousands of different sites there. SBIRs, sitters, grants, even forecasts. So getting ahead of contract opportunities. We actually do our own forecasting as well. So all of this is in there. Contract vehicles themselves, subcontracts, your teaming entities, awards, education level contracts. Again, all of this is in one place. And again, there's an agent on top of all of this that can see all the data, which would be very hard for us to see. The agent sees all that data and it's able to look at your company and say, this is a good fit. And it delivers those to you every single day, like on the top right here. And it's just simply displaying to you pros, cons, and a score. Again, per your company's requirements, matched with all those requirements in the documents themselves, not just something simple like a title or a description or a NACE code. So going very, very deep into these specific opportunities to find the ones that really fit. There's also an element of continuous learning. So you can actually like accept and dismiss these opportunities that it finds, and it does actually learn from them over time as well. So if you, for example, like dismiss something and tell CLEATUS why, it will actually learn from that. On top of that, our pipeline, right? Every opportunity that you're currently tracking, regardless of what phase it's in, regardless of how many there are, need to stay in one place so that that source of truth, that platform knows what you're currently working on, but also acting as a place for your team to literally accomplish their tasks. You're able to really do the things you would expect from a top class CRM, which is assign roles, create tasks, really manage a team. This is great for again, solo operators, two big teams who need to manage, deliverables and things that get done. But also, again, track what's happening, where these contracts are along our pipeline. All of this is, of course, live, synced up, connected, and it's a central workspace for the entire team, and one that the agent is even aware of, too. So there's really a lot of really potential customization here. Again, all of these, what you're looking at right now is all customizable, and really the goal is to reflect your process at the end of the day. To talk a little bit about proposal writing, one of the most incredible elements of this proposal writer is how dynamic it is, right? To what needs to be done to respond compliantly to this solicitation. Essentially, this automation will build whatever it believes is necessary to approach this solicitation. And you see it as it does this. It's a long automation, it could take 5 to 10 minutes. But what you'll see is the agent goes in, meticulously shreds these documents, finds the requirements, goes through the solicitation. It might create a compliance matrix in order to keep track of these, and a proposal outline, highlighting win themes, creating a gap analysis to see what areas might be gaps. It does all this planning, and you see it as it does this, and then it immediately executes on actually writing the solicitation's response, all in the same automation. And guess what it uses to write that solicitation's response? Well, it uses the proprietary information you've provided it. Anything from staffing information to technical documents, even prior proposals. It uses essentially solicitation information on one side, your company's information on the other, perfectly blending them together to create a compliant and tailored proposal every single time. And we always say it's called the proposal writer, but that doesn't mean it can't create a quote or a sources sought response or an RFI response. The idea is that it really just generates the response dynamically from what is in the solicitation. So whether it's a grant response, whether it's a contract response, whether it's just simply an RFI that you're trying to write a nice one-page response to, CLEATUS is going to be able to do that. And that's, again, because it's dynamically created every single time. It's not a cookie cutter workflow. It's not a rudimentary, simple, step one, step two, step three process. what steps one, two, and three are determined dynamically every time. And then the agent also executes across them from start to finish. And that's really, again, the key difference. But it doesn't actually end there. When the agent is done and it says, hey, I created 80% of your proposal, but that last 20%, let's say it's the staffing or management section, I didn't create that. Why? Because I didn't have something. I didn't have, let's say, your key personnel resumes. It will tell you that. And it'll say, if you give me those, I can write it. And your way of completing that section is simply just telling an AI agent, hey, here's my resumes, complete the section now. And you hit enter and it goes and it does it. And that's kind of that interface difference, right? We're not interfacing directly, clicking buttons, mouse and keyboard style. We're literally just telling an agent to accomplish these tasks for us. If you think you're done with your proposal and you're like, hey, I want a red team review done, tell CLEATUS to run that red team review. Tell it what you want the output to be, and it will do that. This is a sandbox environment. So not only is the content being created here, it's also being orchestrated by you. So whatever task you're looking to do, whether that be editing a proposal, reviewing a proposal, completing sections, formatting the final submission package, that's all stuff that the agent is able to accomplish. And it's essentially the way to get it to do that is simply to just tell it. When we kind of talk about market intelligence, we like to talk about first how much data there is, right? We mentioned every award ever, the amount it's been awarded for, all the intelligence you could need on vehicles, such as who's in them, task orders, total allocations, down to the even agencies and sub-agencies, buying habits, awarding habits, potential competitors that you may have, understanding where they are, what they're doing, as well as the contracting officers that hold the keys to these contracts. We have intelligence on all of these different things, so they're kind of grouped up so you can very easily navigate it yourself. But again, we've put an agent on top of it, so you can tell the agent to navigate it. In the past, if you wanted to, figure out, let's say, your top 10 competitors in a certain industry, you'd probably have to dive into Excel and look through, data manually. But now you can just tell an agent to do that, and that agent is going to be able to produce that output as well. So again, it's data plus workflow and utility, and that's really that kind of beautiful synergy between the two. We really like to mention the agent specifically. So we take a break to kind of talk about the agent just on its own, right? I always view AI agents as kind of like a handyman, right? I think it's a good analogy because a handyman has a belt with a bunch of tools on it. And when you give it a task, it's going to look at its tool belt and say, hey, I need to use these tools in order to accomplish this task. And so if we go back to that competitor analysis one with an Excel sheet as an output, and we task our CLEATUS agent to do that, again, it knows it's our CLEATUS agent. It's our business's agent. It's custom. It's totally proprietary to us because it's been customized. It's going to look at its tool and say, okay, I got to query this database. I got to then put that information in an Excel sheet. It's going to make the right tool calls and it's going to deliver that output to you. And that's really how every task can be approached using an agent. And that's really our kind of commitment to continue to build and enhance the tools available to it, but also the data and that's available to it as well. And so really building out these steps, these custom kind of almost like tasks and processes that you have is the key to fully leveraging an agent to do any task you need it to do just faster. Again, even a day of CLEATUS's agent's time is nowhere near as valuable as even a minute or an hour of your time as an owner or an operator or a team member of a high performance team. Leverage the agent, let it take work from you, let it do things. And to think a little bit and kind of expand our minds, well, what would happen if we start connecting some of these steps together, right? Telling them to be triggered at automatic times, or when something happens to trigger certain events, if else logic and actual actions that are performed in there, well, you get a workflow. And what the workflow feature has unlocked is essentially true automation across all possible tasks you can think of. Some teams that are leveraging CLEATUS heavily are practically waking up with proposals ready to review because the agent has ran their process for bid no bid and discovery and preparation all through the workflows that they've created, all completely autonomously. These are custom by nature. And so building these things, connecting them to the rest of your tool stack to orchestrate tasks from one central place, but completely autonomously, that is the ultimately the dream, but it's now become a reality because this is what you're able to do with the workflows feature. I want to also mention that we assist with setting these up. So if you have an existing process and you're like, hey, this is how I do things, let us reflect that as a workflow for you. And even better, you can actually tell the agent to create these workflows too. So you can literally tell CLEATUS, I want a workflow that does this every single morning and outputs this and shoots me an email and does blank. You can actually do that as well. And that's truly again, the future of building anything. It allows anybody to essentially create custom solutions for themselves. And so really, again, very, very powerful tool when it comes to building and expanding on processes like that you need to expand on. Ultimately, that leads into a couple new features that came out over the past month. These are our integrations to various different platforms. Really leveraging your CLEATUS agent, all the data that's in CLEATUS through another agent such as Anthropic's cloud products or ChatGPT, OpenAI's ChatGPT products is also another really interesting thing, right? Keeping things interconnected, being able to access what's in CLEATUS in various different means, whether that's the CLEATUS agent itself or a different agent. You're able to do all these things and integrate them via MCP tools, and really leverage again, the live data, the things that are within CLEATUS in a whole load of different ways. Really, one of the main things that we like to highlight too is really our unmatched price, right? We always say what our goal, what our mission to do is to strengthen the backbone of small to medium-sized businesses in public procurement at all levels and all industries. And so we always have a price point to reflect that. Plans on the essential tier start at just $300 a month, billed annually with additional charges for users. So you're able to craft and scale a custom plan that fits your team, your size, and your budget. And our team is really here to, again, support you through that whole process, giving you a free trial to make sure all this stuff works, to make sure that this is the right solution for you. And ultimately, as it delivers, hopefully scale your business as well as our relationship with you. I want to highlight all of this comes with a dedicated person who's going to help you set this up, understand your business, and really take all of this to fruition. And that kind of highlights our process as well as a business, right? We do a one-on-one call with you, learning your business, learning your processes or some of your pain points, and then helping actually build all of this prior to a trial start. So we literally configure everything for you, and then we present it to you in a second call where we walk through everything, and then hopefully jump into a trial process. And again, more than eager to do so with anybody who's new to this call is jump on a quick one-on-one demo. But then we also continuously support you. So 24/7 chat support, as well as the ability to constantly schedule more calls for whether it be training or continued success and implementation with your account executive, who, again, knows your business and is able to be there to help you. And that kind of concludes, the first half of our presentation here. I wanted to kind of pause as well and see if there was anything in QA that was left to answer. So I'm going to quickly pull that up. All right, it looks like Mitad has answered most of them in Q&A, so I do appreciate that. Really, one of the main things that we want to highlight today, now that we've kind of all caught up to the to for new customers, is obviously this some of the new features around things like grants, as SBIRs and sitters, as well as really a few cool examples of workflows that I think will definitely resonate with a lot of you. So if you have any other questions prior to jumping into that live discussion, that live platform demonstration, again, more than happy to kind of answer those now. So we have a question here from Susan. I see there was a question around kind of the length and time in which it takes to get a product to market. That definitely does depend on kind of the specific industry that you're in, when it comes to trying to sell it to a public buyer. Um, and definitely, like, one of the big things about unique and niche services or products can be the difficulty in finding opportunities for them. And that's why we're so big on understanding the capabilities of your business or your product, so that the opportunities that require capabilities like this are precisely the ones that are going to be presented to you. That's really kind of the whole point of the reason why we go so deep into this level of matching, is to kind of assist with this process of first understanding what it is you do, what it is your product might be doing, and then matching you with all potential opportunities for that product or service. Again, regardless, that might be a grant, that might be a state and local contract, and that obviously also could be a typical, federal contract itself. So I hope that answers that question there, Susan.
We have two people raising hands. Could you please use the Q&A?
Mhm.
If you can't locate it, just it should be at the bottom. It says Q&A. You can just type your question there.
And we do have some questions I saw there around some additional integrations. There will be a lot more integrations, and if there's ever a custom one that you want built, for example, if you're in a vehicle platform and you want to manage things like task orders, that's definitely something that we can assist with as well. We've set up integrations to things like Seaport as well as um, GSA eBuy as well. So, pretty familiar with setting up these kinds of integrations, and definitely able to help that. We have an anonymous attendee asking how to secure grants for government contracts and essentially what grants are available. Obviously, a large number of grants. We'll definitely kind of dive into that one specifically today when we show the platform. There's a lot of different grant sources as well, so we'll kind of run through those as well as SBIRs and STTRs, so that everybody who is interested in grant opportunities or maybe isn't and just is curious, you're going to be able to see simultaneously again once CLEATUS learns your business, your services, and capabilities. It's not going to only just match you to contracts, it can also match you to things like grants as well, to see what that will look like for companies that are interested in them. Um, awesome. Well, I think it's about a good time to jump into the second half of the presentation. Mitad, do you wanna start taking the wheel?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again. I'm going to be hopping off here and turning it over to my colleague here, Mitad, who's going to jump into the platform itself, highlight some awesome features, and hopefully answer some more incredible questions. So let us, looking forward to it again. And without further ado, please take it away.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, Yit is leaving. I'm going to be doing the rest by myself. So I'll try to keep a tab, keep quick Q&As open here. So I actually want to respond to Sharon's question. What are AI credits under your pricing tab? So AI credits are basically like fuel or electricity um, for this platform, right? So every time you use AI, there's a cost associated with it, right? So let's say you're using the proposal writer, you're using the workflows or using the agent to create, you know, uh, their pipeline stuff and then tasks. That each time you use the agent, it will use a credit, and you can actually see it in the platform, your credit usage as well. So this is very similar to ChatGPT or Cloud. You will get a specific quota, unfortunately, because every time you use it, it consumes energy and there's a cost associated with it. And that's what the AI credits are for. I hope that answers the question. So actually, I'm gonna dive right into the grants and SBIRs. So, uh, of course, Sharon. So most people are familiar with our contract search page. Here we have all federal, state, local contracts, DIBs, grants, SBIR, SITRs, forecasts, and even subcontracts. So this is like a central place where you can see all the opportunities, right? You can access here from your left side under contracts. Um, Here, we can just use these quick filters to simply open any grants and or navigate between SBIRs and SITRs. When we're looking at a grant, for example, I have one open here, we will see grant-specific information. This is, of course, the program funding, eligibility, um, eligible partners, assistant listing. These are all special to a grant object, right? So, and besides that, we still have our breakdown. We still have our files here. We can preview these files. We can download them. Um, and then we use the agent to basically learn more about this opportunity, or if you're interested, add it to our pipeline. You can again use the proposal writer to respond to this grant, right? And it will know, because it's agentic, it will understand that this is a grant and will craft the appropriate response. Here is another grant. So instead of using the search to find the SBIR sitter, what we can do is use our agent, right? So agent can pretty much find and take actions on your behalf as well. So here, if you look at the example questions we have here, you're going to see stuff with finding and researching. It has access to your own data. Plus, it can search the internet as well as our database, right? So let's say your pipeline, it's custom to you. It will be able to take actions in your pipeline, right? Let's say you had this contract, you don't remember the source station number, or you remember maybe the name. You can ask about it, and it's just going to pull it up. We can review our recommendations. We can see our tasks, create more tasks, right? Run a workflow, even create a workflow that we can use, build once and then use all the time, forever. And we can even search our alerts and documents. But in this case, we're just going to use it to find some SBIR opportunities. This takes a few seconds. In the meantime, I'm going to check the Q&A here. All right, so here. Let's start here. Yeah, of course you can. Hagen, you said, can you search by NAICS code? Absolutely. That's an extremely standard search practice. You have your filters on the right side. You can come here and then you'll see NAICS codes, you see PSC codes, notice types, and pretty much everything that from contract value to forecast, pre-forecast. So yes, you can use the NAICS codes. Parag, you might have some active filters enabled here, or here it should be active, but I think Prime stays toggled on. So if you just make sure that you only have active and SBIR sitters here, and you can even disable the active and see all the SBIRs, other SBIRs we have. So Joe, the reason that we say 30,000, 40,000, it's kind of an estimate because there are aggregators that gather thousands of sources. These can be small localities in a specific region. So the number changes based on, it's kind of like we connect to that source that source connects to thousands and maybe tens of thousands of sources. So it's about 30 to 40,000 sources. My pleasure, Parag. Maybe I should keep the agent open. Yeah. In the background, it's finding stuff for me. All right. So if you come back here, it found three SBIR opportunities, and only 2 realistic near-term candidates, right? So again, we can dig deep into these, or we can add them directly to our pipeline here, or we can chat further to learn more about them. Let's say I actually want to create a workflow that does this every day. Create me a workflow that checks for SBIR opportunities every day at 10 a.m. Eastern. Right? Because you don't want to go in there every day. I mean, you guys are all, business owners, or, we're busy. So you don't want to go there every day. You want to create something that works in the background like an employee and just notifies you. Well, you can actually just do that right here. There we go. So we have our daily SBIR sitter opportunity check, right? And this just to give you an idea, you know, most of the manual things you're doing, maybe when you receive an opportunity, what is the first thing you do? A go or no go decision, or maybe you check a very specific clause. It's again like we don't want to box people into a specific workflow, so you create your own workflow, right? And we can use the agent to do that. I'm going to show the manual way of creating a workflow. It might look complicated, but again, that's why we have the agent. It can do it for us. So here, trigger, find opportunities, notify the team. There we go. It's going to run at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So let's open our workflows. And this is my opportunity. So what it does, I mean, this is my workflow for use. And here I'm going to close this. So it's going to run every day. It's going to find opportunities for me. And then it's going to, I think, email me. It's actually going to notify us, but we can say, I actually want to receive an email instead. So let's open this. Instead of sending me a notification, send me an email. So, or you can even do Slack, Teams, up to like however you're working, right? And this is again just a one simple way of using workflows. So it removed the step, as you can see. Now it's going to add the email step. There we go. And you know what? I want to make this even. I want to take this to a step further. I want to say, if the deadline is within 2 weeks, I want to ignore it and don't notify me. Don't email me. Right? So we can now add a logic step there. And we can even channel it to different people, right? I'm going to show you other workflows here. And in the meantime, I'm looking at the Q&A here. The most token usage. Well, it's going to depend. Every time you use the agent, there is a fixed token cost. And we don't charge per context. So we actually cover that. But it's again, the more you use it, the more it's going to consume. There's like not one single thing that just consumes more. Yes, of course. So divs are actually in contract search, right? Here under contracts, we have SBIRs, divs, grants, state, local, federal, awarded, forecasted, as well as subcontracts. So you just come here, you go to divs, and then you will get your divs opportunities. And again, you can use the agent to actually find these divs opportunities for you. And then create a workflow, and then refine that workflow, and then make it an automated action that works in the background. Okay, so my agent updated my workflow. Now this is gonna run every day, right? So I can run a test workflow that enable this, and then it will be running every day at 10 a.m., emailing me. Maybe what I should have done was, if there was no match, it would still email me saying that it couldn't find anything, right? So I'm always on top of what I'm working on. But this is just again, a glimpse of what workflows can do. We have, if auto adding to pipeline, for example, preparing proposal. Let's say you start preparing your proposal, you update your status on that contract, but it will notify your manager in Slack, right? Again, a good collaboration. But if you talk about finding more opportunities, for example, subcontract finder, right? So let's say in the subcontract finder, we already put this HVAC subcontract opportunities finder again using our agent. And let's say we want to even improve it to understand if the HVAC scope is a good fit for us, then we want it to be add it to our pipeline, then assign it to Yit with a task so that Yit can stay on top of it, right? So I'm just going to trigger this. There we go. So our agent, again, is going to update our workflow. And this is how you use AI to produce more, right? And focus on the important things. Automate your job, automate, the tasks that you're doing. And think about from this, from like, it's like a funnel, right? From capture all the way to bid submission. You can identify these things, repetitive things that you're doing, and then we can create the workflow to mimic those and then automate them. Yeah, I'm going to look at the Q&A here. So Parag, the navigation to workflows is going to be on the left side. Here, automation. We have workflows here. Again, you can use your agent, right? Let's say you just ask your agent to create one or take you to workflows. It will be able to do that, but it's under automation. So, and here we have our capture profile, which is like the backbone of your company. I want to highlight this actually. So you should think your capture profile like your resume and a company's LinkedIn profile, right? So we see a lot of companies not entering their experience. Well, I mean, the experience is extremely crucial to finding a relevant opportunity or even qualifying for one, right? The contractor officer will say it requires 5 years of experience. Oftentimes, people don't want to enter too much information or they just don't bother entering anything and then expect AI to find them good contracts. And I always tell them, it's like hiring an employee. I'm not telling them anything about your company or your preferences, then telling him, oh, just go find me contracts. It will fail, right? You need to give as much as information as possible. You need to tell your private experiences, subcontract experiences. Federal ones will show up here automatically, but anything, like your company, you've done multiple projects. You can say like we've done 10 years of HVAC, installation and repair in this area. You did a subcontracting job for an embassy, let's say. You have to put that in there. So the AI learns your business. It's like an employee, it's like an individual. The more it knows about your business, the more relevant the recommendations will be, right? Your capabilities, again, because government has been using NACE codes, but what are NACE codes? It's just so broad. There is one for construction. It can be a bridge building or a sidewalk. They're two completely different things. So that's why you got to explain what you do, right? And same thing, if you were to hire an expert capture manager, right? The first thing that person is going to do is learn your company. What are we doing here, right? What services and products we're providing? What is our experience? What's our strong, what we prefer? Maybe we prefer contracts within $5 to $10 million range. Well, you go to your preferences and put that in there. We don't want short deadlines. You can't put that in there. And if you don't tell that to the employee, well, they will not know, and they will bring you contracts that you think are irrelevant. But again, it's like I said, it's the capture profile, backbone, the profile, resume of your company. I'm gonna look at the Q&A here, Susan. Yes, of course. So it's again your company profile, right? So here we have you have your set-aside programs. If you're registered with SAM, you have a UI code. We will fetch those automatically. And of course, CLEATUS will understand which set-asides you have and then show relevant contracts. You can also ask the agent to find you. Let's say you don't have that set-aside yet, or you can just ask the agent to find you opportunities in those with those certifications. So Joe, about FedRAMP and CMMC, yes, we're Q3 of this year. Pretty soon, I think we will have the FedRAMP, another FedRAMP offering that's going to be cloud-based. The current one is on-prem, which is unfortunately the very difficult for the customer, and the lead time is long. So that's why we're moving to FedRAMP 20X, and it's going to be a cloud offering. But I recommend you reach out to us. You can go to cleat.ai, and you can just say get started. And then if you're not an existing customer, of course, you can schedule a demo with us to get a personalized session with one of our account executives. You can ask them these questions. And that person, when I wants to start your trial, you get 7-day free trial. We set up your profile. We work with you. We show you the platform and tailor it to your business. Because it's AI, right? Like, it depends on how your profile is set up and what you will get. And then, this same account executive will work with you with the success program for another month, working with you very closely, reviewing your recommendations, reviewing your profile. We can have like weekly calls, follow-up calls to fine tune the experience. So a couple of people asked cyber opportunities. So cyber is basically defense grants, right? So if you just say cyber opportunities, it's small business innovation research. This is non-dilutive funding from for the small businesses to engage in research and development. So I'm looking at the Q&A questions, by the way. It is overwhelming. But if you have anything you're curious about, with the platform, and you couldn't understand in this session, you can always, again, schedule a demo. Or if you're an existing customer, you have an account executive, you can always email them to learn more. So Susan, you're asking about DIBS registration. Absolutely. Your agent, once you set up your profile, once your company is in CLEATUS, you go to agent and you just ask your agent, look, I want to register to DIBS. How do we do this, right? Your agent knows your company, your documents from your document hub, capture profile, business details, and whatnot. Then it will be able to guide you throughout the process. So Paul is asking about the credits, 500 tokens. So what we get, you don't get charged for additional tokens. It's just you would have to talk to a success person to acquire more credits. To be honest, we don't see people consuming 500 tokens unless you have extensive workflows, right? Because workflows use AI, and they run in the background, and that might just like exhaust your limits. But other than that, we haven't seen too many customers exhausting their 500 credits. But if you do, you can always reach out to your account executive and they will be able to help you out. Oh, Shantana. So yes, you don't have a question, but you utilize CLEATUS since last year and have landed contracts and also renew for another year. Scoring and triage, appreciate it. I think we have the most the best offering for small businesses. That's our focus, small to medium-sized businesses. We really want to make this space more accessible, right? We think it's better for the government. More competition means lower prices. And for small businesses, it's just better for the economy. And with AI, we see that barrier is lowering, right? Barrier of entry to government contracting. And with tools like this, as a small business, you have limited resources. So you use the workflows to kind of augment and automate your processes. That's how you succeed. And at the end of the day, this is a competition. And in order to win, your proposal needs to be good. But in order to win more, you need to do more proposals. It can be a numbers game at the end of the day. Or you're busy with doing one contract, but a good one lands in the and you're not aware because you're not checking your, SAM or whatnot, other portals, well, CLEATUS will be able to do that while you're at a job site and automate the process. So I appreciate it. We would love to do a case study. You can see our case studies here on our homepage. We have, veteran-owned businesses winning their first contract, scaling their businesses. So I highly recommend these make us really proud, to be honest. So Parag, if the email is congested, just ask your agent. Say, look, take a screenshot and send it to your agent. Say, when you're on that workflow, you said, by the way, just for everybody's for context, the workflow, you set up a workflow and the email looks congested. Is there a way to better format the email? Yes, you can open that workflow, pull up your agent on the right side and say, just put the screenshot of that email, say like, look, this looks bad. Like, how can you improve this, please? And it will do it. Rizwan, can you help with capability statements? We actually have a free tool that allows you to create capability statements. If you go under free government contracting tools, there is one of the first free tools we actually created here on the right side. You can build your capability statement here. And of course, you can use the agent to create even a better one, right? Once you sign up. So IO, yes, exactly. That's what I think we're offering, from for small to medium-sized businesses and trying to break into government contracting. And I think our price point shows that we have light, free, light and essential. Both come with free 7-day trial, and light will be just more for capture, right? You don't get the ChatGPT integration, Cloud, GSA if you're on a GSA schedule or Seaport, but it's perfect for capture. It has all the contracts from state, local, to these grants and subcontracts. And when you're ready to start submitting your proposals and preparing proposals, you upgrade to essential, and still a very competitive price. I think in the grand scheme of things, once you land a multiple 100,000 contract, CLEATUS will be 1%, if not less. So the RFPs, you asked, does CLEATUS help create the RFPs? Yes, of course, right? We help with any type of proposal, from grants to solicitations to sources sought, because if it's a sources sought or pre-solicitation, well, you need to write a cover letter. You need to write an email to the contracting officer, right? So there are different stages of the solicitation. And if it's an RFI, RFQ, the proposal writer will adapt and understand and create the appropriate content response type. So Paul, you asked how smooth is the transition from light to essential. So other high-level subscriptions, we only have enterprise that's for a compliance needs, if you need a FedRAMP and whatnot. So within the app, you can upgrade from light to essential at any time, and your payment will be prorated, right? So you pay for light, and then we upgrade within 2 to 3 months. It's going to prorate your existing payment to the rest of your subscription. So it is pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm looking at more questions. Will you ever create a vendor networking portal, as there may be similar businesses working with CLEATUS who benefit from partnering, collaborating, and subcontracting? Great question, Ryan. We currently show the subcontract opportunities. We actually break down, if you see on my screen, we break down all contracts into subcontracts, right? Of course, if there is any. And then this is a beta feature. And then you can access to these individual subcontracts. This is what we're predicting that's what's going to happen, right? These subcontract. And then you can again ask the agent to find who might be the potential winner for this contract. Or maybe you're going to be the prime and you want to find these vendors. But again, great question. Our goal is to create a marketplace for government contracting from finding the opportunities, finding teaming and partnerships, to submitting your proposal and even managing the post award life cycle. Here you can also browse that data manually from contractors. We have about 1 million registered contractors here, and you can ask your agent to browse that data as well. Okay, I think it's kind of hard to do present and answer Q&As at the same time. We usually do this as a pair, and but yeah, great questions overall. And I think we're coming to the end of an hour. So if there's anything else, like I mentioned, um, you can always reach out to your dedicated account executive, or you can just click chat, and we have chat coverage majority of the day, throughout the day. And if you're a new prospect, you're not a current CLEATUS customer, go schedule a demo, get a personalized taste of what CLEATUS can be for your business. And one last question from John Garnish. Is there a way we could utilize CLEATUS to gather all necessary documents and prepare a company to submit for OASIS Plus? Absolutely, John. So basically, use the agent and maybe create a document hub. Go to your document hub and create a folder called OASIS Plus. And then ask the agent. When you navigate that folder, and ask the agent, look, I want to prepare my company for OASIS Plus. What type of documents do I need? And just put them there, and then just work with the agent to kind of knock that list off. Great question, as always. Well, I think that's it for today. We do these sessions every 2 weeks. If you're subscribed to our newsletter, you will receive an email, and you can also see the webinar announcement on our website. And the next one is going to be on June 10. So that's it from me. Again, my name is Mitat. I'm one of the co-founders of CLEATUS. And yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to be, if there's no other questions, I'm going to be stop sharing, and then end the session. Thank you very much. Have a nice rest of your week.